What's good, everyone? This is Jay here, back with my NFL predictions. To recap Week 8, I got 11 out of 15 predictions correct. I may have hit a high, but yeah, two teams were on bye last week. But for this week, the teams that are on bye are Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, New York Giants, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco. So 6 teams on bye. So that means 13 predictions. Number 1, Philadelphia at Houston, and I am picking the Eagles winning 35-14. The Eagles are just the best team in the league, no doubt about that. But Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, they're just fast. They're just furious. Miles Sanders is also fast and furious. So I expect them to roll out on offense, and Derek Stingley is going to get exposed. Dameon Pierce is going to get stuffed. And I expect Philadelphia to put perhaps 24 points in the first half, and Houston none. Perhaps Houston will score 2 garbage time touchdowns, but nonetheless, Philadelphia would win. They just have a better offense and a better defense than Houston does. Number 2, Green Bay at Detroit, and I am picking the Packers winning 30-27. You know, Aaron Rodgers, he may have a rough start without Devontae Adams, but that doesn't mean that he'll lose 5 consecutive games. It just means that he will find a way to bounce back. He was 4-6 in 2016. He went 10-6 and won the division. So, yeah, I think the Packers do have some light in them. Whereas Detroit, they just gave up a big lead, and they should feel embarrassed about themselves. And they should feel embarrassed about themselves even after this game against Green Bay, if Green Bay wins. Number 3, Indianapolis at New England, and I am picking the Patriots winning 27-17. You know, the Colts just have some trouble on offense. Jonathan Taylor not getting his rhythm, not leading the league in rushing yards. And then you fired your offensive coordinator, but, well, New England seems to be on top of things. They're 4-4, and Indianapolis is 3-4-1. So I expect New England to just roll out like they did in Cleveland, like they did against the Jets. I expect them to roll out and fully embarrass the Colts in Foxborough. Number 4, Los Angeles at Atlanta. Los Angeles Chargers, to be exact. And I am picking the Chargers winning 28-25. Justin Herbert may have been a little embarrassed, or it was an embarrassing performance in the first half against Seattle 2 weeks ago, where he lost a fumble, he threw an interception, and turned the ball over on downs. Well, that was not his fault, though. But I think Justin Herbert can turn things around. And while you got Marcus Mariota and his crew leading their division 4-4, Justin Herbert is 4-3. But I believe that Austin Eckler will have himself a game against the Falcons defense that nearly lost, but they managed to win despite surrendering 34 points. But I think Los Angeles can get back on track and perhaps compete with Kansas City to get the division crown. Number 5, Buffalo at New York Jets. And I am picking the Bills winning 24-20. Both these teams have winning records. But who will make it to 6 wins? Will New York Jets make it to 6 wins, or will Buffalo stay at 6 wins? That's the question. And I believe that Buffalo has more tools and more of Josh Allen talent. Zach Wilson, he should pretty much be embarrassed about throwing 3 interceptions against the Patriots, what ultimately cost his win. But Buffalo, they've just been a dominating team. They've just dominated on offense. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and they're just going to do the same thing against the Jets defense. So I expect Buffalo to have a narrow escape against the Jets, who have actually been very good, winning 4 games in a row, and then you go 5-3. Number 6, Minnesota at Washington, and I am picking the Vikings winning 30-17. This may be a homecoming for Kirk Cousins since he was drafted by the Washington Commanders, or formerly Redskins. But, as always, Minnesota has a better offense. Minnesota has shown more progress than the Commanders have. And I expect Kirk Cousins to just flat out throw to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson exposing the entire secondary. Dalvin Cook exposing Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and all the linemen up front. So this is all going to be Minnesota victory. Taylor Heineke will only score in garbage time. Number 7, Carolina at Cincinnati, and I am picking the Bengals winning 19-17. Jamar Chase is out for the Bengals, but it's going to be a tight match. I think Joe Burrow has more talent than P.J. Walker does, but P.J. Walker put on a heck of a game, but Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, they know what they have to do. They pretty much embarrassed themselves in Cleveland the other day, but I think that they'll be able to turn things around and perhaps compete with Baltimore in terms of getting the division crown. So, no worries about that. I'm sure Cincinnati and Joe Burrow know how to do it. Number 8, Las Vegas at Jacksonville, and I am picking the Raiders winning 34-16. Ever know why the Raiders suck? Well, at least for the past 7 games. They've been losing out on 1-possession scores, blowing out leads, and just not being the right rhythm for them. I mean, the Raiders are a good team. It's just that you got to stop with the blowing the leads. You have to get more of Davante Adams involved. I mean, he is involved for some part, but not as much as he was with Aaron Rodgers. But I think against a shitty Jacksonville defense, Derek Carr and Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs can put themselves in a place where they can go 3-5, whereas the Jaguars, they fall down to 2-7, I believe. So yeah, that's what's going to happen in Jacksonville with the Raiders playing there. Number 9, Miami at Chicago, and I am picking the Dolphins winning 37-23. Tyreek Hill, you're almost at the 1K club. Let's go. Oh, so are you, Waddle. So I expect Tua to expose the Chicago secondary. I expect Tyreek and Jalen to have over 150 receiving yards. Definitely Tyreek, but hopefully Jalen. And I believe that Tua, like last time, 400 yards passing, whereas Justin Fields, I mean, he runs the ball pretty well, but I guess his receivers will get covered up, and Christian Wilkins, Xavier Howard will do their duties on defense. So it's going to be all Miami. They're just going to win the game. They know how to win games. Tyreek knows how to win. He's being part of a winning culture in Kansas City, so no question right there. Number 10, Seattle at Arizona, and I am picking the Seahawks winning in overtime, 30-24. 30-24, that's right. And I'm talking about a Seattle team that's put up more than 20 points in almost like every game following that ugly loss to the 49ers. And it's just what Geno does. Geno Smith is actually a good quarterback. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Marquise Goodwin, they just know how to catch the ball, put the ball in the end zone. And you got Kenneth Walker, a.k.a. K9, knowing how to run the ball effectively. So I think they'll put on a lot of yardage and points, whereas Kyler Murray, his only target he can trust is DeAndre Hopkins. And yeah, things are not going to go so well for Arizona, who are going to fall 3-6. But I think Seattle knows how to win games. Geno Smith knows how to win games. The Seattle team knows how to function as a team altogether. So it's going to be a close one since it's in Arizona, but I think Kyler Murray will just blow up a lead, perhaps. Number 11, Los Angeles Rams at Tampa Bay, and I am picking the Buccaneers winning 21-20. I think Tom Brady can find his way back, although this is the first time he is below 500, 2 games, 3-5. He will find a way to put his Buccaneers back in business. He knows how to win games. Matthew Stafford, I mean, it's a struggle for him. He's taken a lot of hits. He's taken a lot of sacks, whereas Tom Brady may have not. But if Mike Evans and everyone can get their act back together, I think they will probably win the game. I think if Tom Brady stops calling out or stops worrying about Giselle, perhaps, I think the Buccaneers are in content of winning their division. Number 12, Tennessee at Kansas City, and I am picking the Titans winning 27-24. Patrick Mahomes has been good, even with Juju Smith-Schuster at his helm. But I think Derrick Henry knows how to stampede past the Kansas City secondary and defensive linemen up front. Derrick Henry knows how to do it. Even Jeffrey Simmons knows how to sack a quarterback. The Titans secondary is pretty good, so I expect it's going to be all Derrick Henry pretty much this game. Number 13, Baltimore at New Orleans, and I am picking the Ravens winning 30-27. Baltimore, they know how to win games. Lamar Jackson hopefully is securing the ball, and the Saints are 3-5. Although they have been trying very hard, they just aren't winning the games. Andy Dalton, you know what happened last week, or last week, 3 interceptions, and 2 of them got returned for touchdowns. So that's one thing to be cautious of, because the Saints, they just don't look like where they were a year ago. But Baltimore, I think with a healthy Lamar Jackson, and despite losing Rashad Bateman to season-ending injury, I think they'll find their way to win. I have full faith in Lamar for this one. And that is all for Week 9. And if you haven't subscribed, feel free to comment underneath the video below. Alright, thanks. Have a good Week 9.